this. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My name is ṣṇa-kīrti Das, and I am the convener for the ISKCON India Scholars Board, and I have with me here ISKCON India Scholars Board member and scholar and author, Śrīdhara Śrīnivāsa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for
Krishna.
ṣṇa-kīrti Prabhu welcoming me. I wrote 2 books. I really have a short of time, but still, this is the Divine Prophecy, and this one is Female dīkṣā-guru. Very much we are going to discuss on the topic, the Female dīkṣā-guru, I presume. Let's get going.
Okay, so earlier this morning, Dhruva Mahārāja, he released an interview and he talked about many things, but one of the things he spoke about at the end was the Sunīti purport, Srila Prabhupada's statement as to why Sunīti could not become Dhruva's dīkṣā-guru. So before we read that part of his interview, I just want to ask you this one question. And that question is, can gurus, can spiritual masters initiate their children? That's my one question.
Yeah, the answer is yes, because as you said, Dhruva Mahārāja has identified a contradiction, but the way to do it is based on Shastra. So if I say yes, I have to give a Shastra pramāṇ. Bharadvat Samhita, this is Narada Pancharatra, Bharadvat Samhita. Do you want me to go through that verse? Swayam Brahmani.
Yeah, okay, you can, yeah, go ahead.
Swayam Brahmani Nikshipitan Atan Yeva Cha Mantrataha Vinitan Putradin Samyak Samskritya Pratibodayet. So this verse, the meaning of this verse is that the Guru himself will initiate Nikshiptan, basically is going to initiate Jatan Eva Cha Mantrata Putradihan. You can see Vinitan Putradin. Vinitan means his pupil and disciples, and Putradin is actually Putra. So answer is yes, that a guru can initiate his son and daughter or his offsprings.
Nice. So I want to just read through the interview, and then we'll focus on that and have a little more discussion on that. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So the interviewer, this is his disciple, Sarvatma Prabhu. He says, yes, there's one point in contention that they have about Dhruva Mahārāja, and that is about his mother. And I'll read you, and you'll read you that from before. Rebutting Mahārāja. Yeah, I know the quote, but go ahead and read it. Interviewer. Sarvatma. Okay, quote, according to ṣāstra conjunctions, there is no difference between this. This is Prabhupada's purport, between Shiksha-guru and dīkṣā-guru. And generally the Shiksha-guru later on becomes the dīkṣā-guru. Sunīti, however, being a woman, and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Mahārāja's dīkṣā-guru. Still, he was no less obliged to Sunīti. 1 second. Just have to shut down a computer here.
Yeah.
Rebutting Mahārāja. Yes, Prabhupada says the real point is specifically, that means specifically, Prabhupada said many times women can be gurus. He said that many times. And here he says women shouldn't be gurus, specifically in relation to their own children, because they can't be objective. And so the word specifically is the key word. This is a paradox. Prabhupada says many times women can be gurus. Here he says she wasn't the guru because she's a woman. But specifically, that's the relevant part of her being a woman, that she's his mother. That's called a paradox, an apparent contradiction which can be resolved if you understand it more clearly. So the real rule that Prabhupada is saying, specifically, Prabhupada's word, is that a mother shouldn't, because her attachment shouldn't be a guru to her own child. And by accepting that interpretation, instead of saying Prabhupada contradicts himself, You can say that if you want. I'm not going to say it because Prabhupada does say women could be gurus. Therefore, you have two choices. Number one, to say, and say it publicly, Prabhupada contradicted himself. He forgot on Thursday what he said on Tuesday. That sounds offensive to me. The other interpretation is to take the word specifically very seriously because she was a woman specifically. That's why her being a woman is relevant, because she was his mother. It's not what Prabhupada didn't say is that specifically a woman can't be a guru. He said specifically a mother can't be a guru. So I choose to resolve. I choose to say that Prabhupada does not contradict himself on these issues, that Prabhupada does not forget on Tuesday what he said on, does not forget on Thursday what he said on Tuesday. I propose a solution which respects the integrity of Prabhupada's teaching and does not offend him by accusing him of contradicting himself. That is called philosophy, by the way, unquote. So that's the interview. So I just want to focus on two paragraphs. He says, yes, Prabhupada says the real point is specifically, that means specifically. Prabhupada said many times women can be gurus. He said that many times. And here he says women shouldn't be gurus, specifically in relation to their own children because they can't be objective. And so the word, therefore, the word specifically is the key word. This is the paradox. Prabhupada says many times women can be gurus. Here he says she wasn't the guru because she's a woman. But specifically, that's the relevant part of her being a woman, that she's his mother. So, what do you think?
Okay. Yeah, before we go and dive into the way of specifics, I just want to say one thing. Śrīdhara Maharaj is basically finding a contradiction in the 4.12.32 purport. That being a woman, specifically mother, fine, but he accepts that there is an apparent contradiction, and he even goes at length to say Prabhupada probably forgot on Thursday what he said on Tuesday, although he says that I'm not saying that, but he really says, but he could have saved all the trouble of such kind of word jugglery, such kind of wrangling, such kind of guru aparadha, had he studied one Pancharatra scripture, Bharadvaja Samhita, that which I quoted in the beginning, that a parent can become guru of their children.
Let me ask you this, Prabhu. Is there any other evidence besides the Bharadvaja Samhita?
There are so many evidence that I have the evidence not on top of right now here, but it is very, very obvious. The father in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, if you know that there is a 74 Simhasanapatis, and Ramanuja set them up, and those were continued as familial lineage, not as caste Goswamis. They were all pure Simhasanapatis, and because Ramanuja wanted to spread this far and wide. And in Shastra, there is Dharma Shastra, so many Dharma Shastras, they right away give you that, a father can initiate the son. The father gives the Upanayana Samskara to the son. And even the Pancharatrika Diksha, it is mentioned that father can do that. So right now I don't have on top of my head to.
So Ramanujacharya set up these, you call them Simhasanapatis.
Yes.
74 Simhasanapati. So what does a Simhasanapati do? Can you explain what the Simhasanapati does?
The Simhasanapati is the, Ramanuja wanted, earlier days, it was all one-on-one teaching, going from one guru to one disciple. The guru will not accept more than, number of disciples, that he cannot teach. So there will be set of disciples, he will give them instruction, he will complete with them before accepting another one. But Ramanujacharya thought this is going to be very slow for Kali Yuga. There are so many in the queue, they don't have intelligence, they don't qualify this high criteria. So he wanted a system by which en masse, those who are all desiring, those who want to surrender, those who are ready, they can get away. And he found the way in Pancharatrika scriptures. That's why Pancharatra, Narada Pancharatra is a very key one. And this Bharadwaj Samhita is quoted by Ramanuja Sampradaya heavily. Vedanta Deshika quotes it. So Ramanujacharya established these seats, 74 seats, and he gave them the authority that they can initiate.
So initiation in that, does that mean like the Vedic initiation, or does it
No,
mean
no, Pancharatrika initiation. Anybody, and this verse comes into play there. It can be any one of his disciples or his own sons. And the reason he initiates his own son, one main reason is to continue. Somebody has to be there to take the baton.
I see. I see.
So, M.A. Lakshmi Tatachar in Melkote, he is a Swayamacharya. He told me that he is very concerned. I know it's a personal information, we shouldn't dwell into it, but he was very much keen to transfer after his time to authority to his sons to become Acharya and their children. So they will train this from the childhood. And you know, M.A. Alwar is a erudite scholar. So many books he has written. So this is very obvious, a living example that how an M.A. Alwar, whenever he chooses to initiate, he will, so he can initiate his own son. So this is very much possible.
So then just to look back at that, so we have two examples here. One, we have the Shastra. You noted that Bharadwaj Samhita, and you also noted that Bharadwaj Samhita is also quoted significantly in the Sri Sampradaya as an authority. In my podcast yesterday, I also noted that Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Baladevi Dubhushna, and Prabhupada himself also cite Bharadwaj Samhita as authority, and Prabhupada specifically says Bharadwaj Samhita accepts persons as Brahmana, not based merely on birth, but on qualification. So I just wanted to compare the evidence. Ridhananda Maharaj gives a logical explanation, gives a logical interpretation, and I just wanted to understand what's the authority of his interpretation versus all these pramāṇas. The example of Ramanujacharya and the 74 Simhasana Patis and the Bharadwaj Samhita.
In other words, sadācāra, which you have the famous purport, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 7.11.7 purport, Shruti Smriti sadācāra. Prabhupada quotes that. Smriti.
Sure. Let me quote that here. It's from Yajnavalkya Smriti. It's in the purport. Prabhupada quotes it. Shruti Smriti sadācāra svasya cha priyamātmanaha samyak sankalpajaha kamo dharma moolam midam smritam. That the Dharma Moolam, the Dharma Moolam, these are the 5 sources of knowledge of Dharma. So there's Shruti, Smriti, Sadācāra, then Svasya Cha Priyamatmanaha, whatever is dear to a Shishta Brahmana. Samyak Sankalpajaha Kamo, and that's a Sankalpa. In other words, you take a vow, I'm only going to chant my rounds before I eat. Something like that. And then those are the ways that one can know Dharma. So sadācāra is one of those ways one of those authorities.
Certainly.
Or as Krishna says in Gita, sayat pramanam kurute lokastara nivartate.
So it's only second if you choose to ignore Narada Pancharatra. Even Narada Pancharatra Bharadwaj Samhita says, na jatu mantrada nari. And if you want to intentionally somehow be fixed up that somehow I will not accept that, which is offense, then you go to sadācāra. Even sadācāra is there. In sadācāra, Ramanujacharya created a lineage of 74 Simhasanapatis who are even today called Swayamacharyas. They initiate, and my maternal side comes from a Swayamacharya, Pillalokacharya Vamsha. So you don't want to accept Shruti, you don't want to accept Smriti, you don't want to accept Pancharatra, you don't want to accept Sadācāra, and Hridayananda Mahāraja says, just speculate, okay? Pick up the word specifically and do English grammatical jugglery and try to say, Prabhupada, you are getting into weird situations, but if you take our method, which is not my method, that is the method given by Prabhupada, first go to Shruti, then go to Smriti, then go to Sadācāra, then go to Pancharatra. If you ignore all these things, we have to take the route that Hridayananda Mahāraja is suggesting, and which is nothing but Bauddha. Veda na manye Bauddha.
That seems to be actually like, for example, this letter from Prabhupada to Tushta Krishna, where he says the etiquette is that one should not initiate in the presence of one's spiritual master, but in his absence or disappearance, one can accept his disciples without limitation. Now, Prabhupada says in that letter, that's the etiquette. Etiquette, that's sadācāra. That's information on the level of sadācāra. So that, but if you eliminate that, if you say we're just going to do the jugglery, which is exactly what the Ritviks do on the July 9th letter, where they're just going to take one word, this henceforward, and then they're going to interpret it creatively. That seems to be, Hridayananda Mahārāja seems to be doing the same thing, a similar thing in this instance with this word similarly. Not similarly, but with this word, what does he say specifically?
Yeah, specifically.
Yeah.
So, ṣṇa-kīrti Prabhu, you brought a very nice point, and I think it boils down to 3 points.
Yeah.
Can gurus initiate their son? Whether we are not talking male or female, let's say the question is, can gurus initiate sons and daughters? Answer is yes.
Yeah.
Can father initiate a son? Answer is yes.
If he's qualified to
Yeah, I
initiate.
mean, we are assuming that they are qualified. We are not talking of at this point. Now, the next question is, can mother initiate sons? Now, here is only, there is a clear contradiction with Shastra. Mother means woman. Okay, woman cannot initiate is from a Narada Pancharatra Vakya. Prabhupada is not saying, now let's hold Prabhupada's statement. But Shastra says woman cannot initiate. That means mother has a restriction. That's one side of the mother. She has to follow the Strī Dharma. She cannot not follow Strī Dharma. She cannot say she will be independent and violate and initiate. So that rules out mother out of that line. So being a woman, Sunīti could not initially become Dhruva Mahārāja's dīkṣā-guru.
In other words, it's not because Sunīti was the mother of Dhruva, it's because she was a woman.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because according to Shastra, well, even let's forget Shastra, because we know that Hridayananda Mahārāja has a Bharadvaj Samhita, phobia, or he's just just not into it. Even just from the point of view of the 74 Simhasana Patis, that system that Ramanujacharya established, and which is going on today, that gurus, spiritual masters, can initiate their children.
So if woman has...
So what that means is that it cannot be because she's his mother and that Dhruva is her son, but it's because she's a woman.
That's right. Again, the mother is only, first she has to be a woman, then only she can be a mother. Yeah.
So let me just say a little bit of point about English grammar here, is that and this is the way that it's currently expressed in the Bhāgavatam purport, is that you have what are called parenthetical clauses. So a parenthetical clause means that you're just giving additional information that's not essential. That's not essential. It's just additional information. Like, for example, if I say, this is my daughter Jayashree, and I have only one daughter. Well, the way that's demarcated in English, this is the convention right now, is that you put that in what's called parenthetical commas or something, because it's understood. If I only have one daughter, Jayashri. Now, if I had two daughters, this is, let's say I have two daughters. I have Jayashri and Mimamsa. Those are my two daughters. And I say, this is my daughter, Jayashri. Well, now that's important because now you have to specify which daughter you're talking about. Okay, so that information is essential because this is my daughter, Jayashri. So here, it's a parenthetical. This Prabhupada statement, specifically his mother, is parenthetical. It's that she's a woman, and he's just saying that okay, and he's his mother. That's all. But woman is what's really important here, not the fact that she's mother. And that this is proved by the sadācāra, by Ramanujacharya's example, and also by the shāstras as well.
Yeah. So I want to kind of, really conclude one portion. It may come and say, are you saying something that Prabhupada did not know? And he doesn't know parenthetical statements and all these things. Why did he say specifically mother? Now, all these problems are coming because there is no Shastra in the center. In Hridayānanda Mahāraja argument, where is the Shastra? He doesn't give any, and he's rejecting a Shastra Pramāṇ, which is Bharadwaj Samhita, that says women cannot become dīkṣā-gurus. So he has to reject that. Then he has to come and interpret Prabhupada's statement. And right now, we are only zooming into Prabhupada's statement and talking English. Okay? And this is Guru, this is an offense to ignore Shastra, to ignore sadācāra, and then just come and bang on one statement. And one more thing I want to bring up. Hridayānanda Mahāraja keeps on saying it is not there in Bhāgavatam. For example, that is his escape route. If you ask him something, let me allow me to. This is very important. If you ask him, oh, how come women are addressed as Prabhus? Oh, that's not in Bhāgavatam. Mataji is not there in Bhāgavatam. So you can say, oh, yes, the Draupadi's disrobing incident true. That's not in Bhāgavatam. Mahabharata could be corrupted. So I ask him one question. Is Hare Krishna mantra given as it is in Bhāgavatam? If it is not given in Bhāgavatam, can it not be corrected? As per Hridayānanda Mahāraja logic. So this is how, if you take the path of Hridayānanda Mahāraja, you will lead up into rejecting everything. Na iti, 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 na iti. And you know who does naiti, naiti, naiti.
Well, here's a suggestion for his Krishna West project. Start using garlic and onion in your cooking and your deity offerings. That's not in Bhagavatam either. It's in Manu Samhita, but it's not in Bhagavatam.
He wants to, in this particular case, Hridayānanda Mahāraja wants to not use the direct evidence from Shastra, sadācāra, but he simply wants to do indirect indications. That is called prajalpa, that's called quibble, wrangle, whatever you want to call. It is simple speculation because he rejects Shastra.
Yeah, let me read what Prabhupada says in his purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila 6.135. He says, quote, apart from the direct presentation, there is a chance that an interpretation may not be perfect. Therefore, the conclusion is that only a direct presentation can be considered evidence. An interpretation cannot be accepted as evidence, but may be considered proof of evidence. So what Hridayānanda Mahārāja is he's not giving a direct evidence. It's an interpretation. What we have showed here by the sadācāra and by the shāstra, that there's direct evidence.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we covered the topic quite well.
Yeah.
So it's a good point. Thanks for bringing this up, ṣṇa-kīrti Prabhu. I really appreciate. We are all running short of time because there is a GBC meeting coming up, and I am preparing to present this one more time. They have invited me. They want me to present my book there. So wish me luck.
Yes.
That's all I can say. And I'll take leave. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you for your time, and thank you for your especially for enlightening us about how what is the tradition and how this is actually practiced today in the Ramanuja Sampradaya. Hare Krishna.
Yes. And yeah, you can put in the description box about my book and my contact. Anybody needs to get in touch more, I'm always available.
I shall, yeah, we'll do that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Jai.